Good afternoon. Hello, everyone, and welcome to What Comes Up Comes Out. This is Precious, your host. Let's go ahead and get housekeeping taken care of. Please go ahead and subscribe and hit the notification at the top if you have not already. I just want to say thank you to everyone who has been a faithful viewer. Now, you may have noticed over the last couple weeks that I have not had new content, and I do apologize for not giving you all a disclaimer. That's because I've been on vacation visiting my lovely niece, having a fashion show, and trying to get back acclimated, obviously, to being back at work. And I've just been a tad bit busy. So I apologize. I hope to not have that happen in the future, or just talk about how you all are just supposed to watch the reruns because we're on a hiatus or what have you. So I do want to talk about my lovely niece. She just started second grade. And so Auntie Precious thought, I need to have a fashion show for her. So I got in touch with my sister, who, let me tell you, every time I told my little sister she about the fact that I wanted to have shirts, she did this. And I was like, how dare you? And so I asked for the size of my niece and I asked for her shirt. She said, you don't have to get me a shirt, Precious. It's okay. I said, no, you're her mother. I already have a shirt for you. I was just being courteous and asking. Okay. Now, between her, my niece, which I was a little shocked by, and my coworker and my other sister, they said I was extra. Is that extra? Tell me in the comments below. Because I personally said, we're just changing clothes. Now, to be fair, we did have a pink carpet. We did have ropes. And we had lights. You can't have a fashion show without lights. Camera Hollywood, just a touch of that bit in there. So, was I extra? Or were we just changing clothes? Not the part that I do think that may be a bit extra. I got crowns for everybody. So my mom, who's the matriarch of our family, had a crown. My brother-in-law, who's the king of his family, my sister, even my nephew had a cute little crown on, and I had one too. But it was really about Princess Zoe. She's the only little girl that we have, as a niece or a daughter, or granddaughter, or whatever. So it was very important to me that I did that. So, but I want everybody to be included. So that's the reason for the crowns. Now, I had a ton of clothes that I bought from Shein because I wasn't sure what my little sister had for Princess Zoe. And so Auntie came prepared. And so one of the things that I do recall is she likes the color pink. So I had this pink shimmer lip gloss from Nivea. You all may have seen it. I got it from the Amazon. And we had it on. There's a little bit of shimmer to it. When I left, and I am telling this out of order, my niece had it on. Again, we were wearing this while I was visiting. My brother-in-law goes, take that lipstick off, I'm told, because my two sisters called to tell me Zoe's mom and my other sister. I was like, that's not lipstick. I didn't give her lipstick. She's 7. And I know how she go child, and I said in the child place. Apparently, this happened on her way to school, and my niece got in trouble. And I'm so sorry that happened, Princess Zoe. That was not Auntie's intention. So I said, from now on, I'm going to have to get her this chapstick like this or gloss. So I told my sister, her mom, I was like, okay, well, let me just mail something to her from Amazon. She was like, Precious, don't do that. I bought her chapstick and she loses. And I was just like, but she got in trouble because of me. Do y'all do stuff like that if you don't have kids, or if you do and they're the last ones or first ones? Do y'all find yourself buying things and doing things for them that you wouldn't normally do, or that other people, including your family members, are like, that's just a little much? Share with me in the comments, because I get so excited about being able to buy stuff for my niece, dress like her, spend some time. In fact, let me tell you, Princess Zoe has gotten so adapt at what Auntie Precious wants her to do. She was painting her nails. Okay. Now, last time when I visited this year, I painted her nails and I was like, listen, if you're not going to watch your nails and make sure, they stay straight, I'm not going to waste time doing it, because I know you're playing. I know you're a little girl, but it takes time. She was like, no, Auntie Precious. Okay, fine. TT Precious. That's what she calls me. She did really well when I was up there the time before last. Now, this time when she did even better. She painted them herself. She also painted her toes. I was like, okay. So that tells me that she likes what we do and she's interested. We also had a little bit of tea, just a little bit, for my niece. That's what she wanted to do. And it was just really great being able to see her. And my nephew, her brother, let me just say, my nephew Dash, he is 2 years old, going on 22 like an old man, because when he sleeps, sometimes he sleep like this. I'm like, what job you been to? But it was important to me that I got something that he could feel included, not just, everything about Zoe because she's a little girl. But what fascinates me is when he comes home from daycare, he goes straight to the pantry and he's able to pull out the muffins that he wants. And I'm not just talking about eye level. I'm talking about homeboy knows how to climb. Okay. And then when you see him and look at him, we like, Dad, she's like, so he knows what he's doing. But what I love the most is hearing him say his mom, his sister, and his daddy, daddy. That's what I love to hear. He's like, Zoe, Zoe. He loved his sister. It's so sweet. Okay, so that was that part. So while I was away, not last week, but the week before last, I was on vacation. But I asked my manager if it was okay for me to work because I wanted to make sure my people were supported. Now, I know everybody doesn't agree with that logic, but we've had a lot of different changes happening in our organization, and the most constant is who your supervisor is, at least in my department, which happens to be new hires. So I worked Monday and Tuesday, and Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday I was off. Zoe didn't go to school until the middle of the week, so it was important for me to. Side note, every day we took her to school, it was a thing. Me, my sister, my mama, Dash, and my brother-in-law. The principal goes, "Oh, y'all pulling out the red carpet for her?" I was like, "Yes, ma'am," but in my head I was like, "It's pink actually, because that's her favorite color." But yes, and I took pictures. I also took a Polaroid camera up there, and I left it so that when I go there next time, we'll have some more camera footage to real time so she can get exposed to that also so that we can have it. And I told my sister she should create a scrapbook. She said, Precious, no one's doing that but you. I said, okay, fine. It'll be something that me and my niece will do when I come back. So I'm excited about being able to do that part. So the reason why I bring up the vacation is, again, to apologize. I hope to not do that to you all again, not tell you that I'll be traveling or, hiatus or, let's look at reruns or however I phrase it. One of my associates walked out. And so that's not uncommon. People walk out all the time. But what was frustrating to me, and I didn't realize it, was that it was impacting my health. And so what I mean by that is, so it's a Tuesday. My team was going to lunch about 1. And I noticed that this associate wasn't back. And I reached out to them in multiple platforms to see if they were okay. They weren't with me the week before on that Friday because I had to help a family member. So I thought, well, maybe something happened and they had to go and just didn't think about telling us, which happens. And then I called, still no response. And then I was like, for whatever reason, my mom was up there with me and she was like, there's a heat advisory in Georgia. So I thought, well, maybe they're in their vehicle. I know they vape. Can we just make sure, nobody's passed out? Sorry, I got something on my face. I actually have been getting laser semi hair removal, and I've been getting a lot of compliments. My mama even asked me a couple times, Precious, do you have on makeup? No. So if you're interested, reach out to me in the comment section and we can talk, or you can reach out to me on my Instagram handle, which is PALM2018 Palm 2018. So I get back to my story. And so I reach out to my peers. I reach out to my manager. Nobody knows what's going on. The associate that was there with them that day was like, hey, they had been feeling, I apologize, a little uneasy the week before. And I thought, well, I didn't know that. So come to find out, the person left the company. And it was frustrating to me because there was no communication told to me from that individual. And as a leader, for me, it's important that one... Excuse me. It's that time. Essentia. It refreshes you. So I think it's important for associates to be collaborative in their success, and I believe in transparency. And also, at the end of the day, just because people don't agree with what home office or the rules are, doesn't mean that they can't and shouldn't be allowed to express it. And so I, as a leader, okay, you don't have to agree with it. And I agree with what you're saying. That's true. People shouldn't. But guess what? That's not our baby to rock. And we still have an expectation. At the end of the day, we're troubleshooters and we have to find solutions. Excuse me. So the associate that was there, she was like, Aquinas, it's not you. That's not why this person left. And I said, thank you for telling me. I haven't heard it from them. It's just, I hope they're okay. Excuse me. But what ended up happening is I got sick. Excuse me. And what I mean by that is I was vomiting. And I was vomiting almost the last 3-4 days I was up there. And I never experienced that before. I'm not pregnant. I've been to my OB. Everything is fine. And I had my monthly while I was up there. So I was like, what's the other constant in my life, right? And my sister and I just came to the conclusion that it's possible, you may not have that work-life balance that you thought you had. So I thought back earlier this year, I had two fever blisters in June, and I typically only got them when I was in college stressed. So I've had to take a step back, and I am telling this out of order, y'all. Sorry. I went to my therapist last week because I didn't the week before because I was out of town. And we talked about some things that if I cry, that's just part of the process for me. That it's possible that I just don't have that work life balance that I thought I did, or that there is more happening in my body and I have not been paying attention. Has it ever happened to any of you all where maybe you are a bit more stressed, but you don't feel it, you don't look it, you don't think it, but your body is saying something else in the form of like dizziness, um, maybe vomiting like me. I'm not an MD specialist, I'm not a psychiatrist, so these things are my experiences. They have not been approved by the FDA, nor are they factual for everybody else. This is, again, just my experience. But if you have, share it with me down in the comments. Because then the other thing that it made me think about is, how does this impact my work? So my manager met with me and told me that I was like basically in the middle of the pack, and that really upset me and annoyed me because I come to work, right? Like I made the statement, I'm not gossiping. I'm not, people still have office sex, if I'm saying it right, and I'm not trying to be crude or vulgar or anything. I'm not doing that. And even though I appear to be social, because people do come to my space and ask questions, talk to me, laugh, we take pictures, when my people need me, I'm there for them. And they will tell you that this is not me needing validation from you all or me tooting my own horn. So it just frustrated me. But then I had to take a step back, y'all, after she gave me that information. Okay, so the results were from January to June. What was going on? Eric died in January, and I was not sleeping. Go back and check my previous videos. I was sluggish. I even bought this weighted blanket that I'm in bed with now from Belts. It's 12 pounds to help me rest because I remember restless nights months after Eric died. So then it made me think, maybe I wasn't all that I could be for my team. But that result still bothered me. It still made me feel as if my best wasn't good enough, which, I'm not on any type of warning or memo or anything or notice, but it's still unsettling. So, yeah, so I say all that to let you all know that I'm obviously still in therapy. I am a bit better saying that, yes, Eric and I divorced before he passed away, and that I did give him the best care that I could, and I did stay as long as I could. However, what I didn't realize, or because I've lost people before, I've lost my grandmama, I've lost an aunt, I've lost a cousin, I've lost an uncle, is sometimes even after someone dies or leaves you or transition, whatever word you decide to use or however you feel that statement in, it can still have lingering impacts or effects on you because I didn't take time. Like, yeah, they gave me bereavement, but I was planning a funeral. I was trying to get his stuff, organized in the garage. I didn't and I would not have taken time to just sit in this house. I'm not a drinker, so I wouldn't have drowned my sorrow. Maybe I would have ate, but going to work was a distraction for me. I end up talking to my director to have a better understanding of what I need to do better. Because again, I said yes to the management position that was given to me. I have to do what's best for my associates, right? And she was very forthcoming in saying, I'm not concerned about you being in the fourth quartile or, staying in the third quartile. You're literally 5 spaces from being in the second quartile, which is where I had been running first and second the first of the year. But she did tell me that you have some opportunities in this specific category and you need some strong months to come out of. And I felt relieved hearing my director tell me that. One of the things that I'm grateful for my director with this organization is she said, you might do need to take, some time to reevaluate, and ensure that you are where you need to be headspace wise. And that's saying a lot, especially in today's tumultuous economy. People feeling like they're just numbers. People are disposable, irreplaceable. We are replaceable. And I needed to hear that. But at the same time, I wish I had had this conversation before, or was aware that it was this particular area that I needed, because I would have changed my coaching up or my supervision a little differently. Anyway, I went to therapy, and one of the things that my therapist and I have learned is that, and talking to some of my peers also, is that I can be positive with other people, but she said, you're so negative when you talk about yourself. And I forgot how toxic sometimes corporate America can be. Are you all like that? And it's not intentional and it's not a facade, but are you like that? Can you say, Johnny, I have the most faith that you're going to be able to get all those widgets done this week. But when it comes to you, oh my God, I don't know how I'm going to do this. I didn't do well this last time. They're going to do any of y'all do that? Or for the purpose again of this example, girl, Andy, I'm proud of you. You did really, really good this week. And I know that next week you're going to do well, but you're talking to yourself and you're saying, yeah, nobody's going to appreciate the effort that I've done, or whatever that self-devalue, that's the word that she used with me in the session last week. So she asked me a question, and I asked my friend who I've been hanging out with. Hello, Poppy. You know who you are. So I said, how do you value yours? How do you quantify your value? And he said, that's an interesting question. I don't have and it's not dollar signs only. What I ended up taking from that session was, I don't find value in myself, or the way things have been set up, or how I've been triggered or wired, excuse me, is if I'm not serving other people, I don't find value in myself. So my therapist got very direct with me. She said, that pillow's not doing anything that you're holding. These plants that I need to dust, they're not doing anything but being. She was like, you have value in just being. And even though I understand what she's saying from a theoretical, I didn't understand it. I'm like, so I understand I can just be for a minute, but what are we doing? The whole day I'm just sitting. I'm not an inanimate object. And I started moving, and unfortunately, she's put on some of my cord. She was like, stop moving. Don't you dare. She wouldn't even let me pick up the tissue, y'all, because every time I go see my therapist, I swear her goal is to get tears from me. I keep leaving the mason jar at home so I can be like Johnny Depp off Crybaby and give them to her. Anyway, she said, that's why do you think that you only have value when you serve? She said, so if you're not serving people, you don't find value. And unfortunately, I couldn't tell her anything different, but yeah, I don't. What else is my purpose? So that's funny, because my sister came down to visit, and we were talking about my 40th next year, and she asked me, she said, what are you doing for your birthday this year? And I told her. She said, who's going? I said, it's going to be me, myself, and I. I said, Jesus is going to be there, but he won't be in a physical form. And she said, why'd you do that? Excuse me. And I said, well, to be fair, when I made the decision. I didn't think about inviting anybody else. And I've gotten coached from my sisters and from friends. They were like, well, you didn't give me the right to say, or chance to say yes or no to come with you. And then she said, but why? And I said, do you want the honest answer, or do you want the answer? She said, no, tell me the honest answer. I said, I don't think that anybody would find me worth celebrating. And so when I thought about it, that's saying a lot. And my sister was very direct, and she was like, well, Precious, you're a recluse and you don't invite people in. and you don't. She said, every time my birthday comes around, I tell people, hey, I'm thinking about doing this for my birthday. If you can come, let me know more information later. I said, I get it. I said, but people have stuff that they're doing, and when did I get like this? How did I get like this? I don't know the answer to that part. Sure I'm gonna end up, talking about this again because I do have an appointment, a session with her tomorrow. Um, wow. And for those who are concerned, no, I'm not thinking suicidal thoughts. No, I don't want to slit my wrist. No, I don't want to take a whole bunch of pills and go to sleep. But it's eye opening to me because all those things have plagued me. I can't speak for anyone else. Um, but if I only see myself as having value while serving other people, then what do I do when I'm not serving them or that need is not there? Because Eric is gone. He doesn't need me anymore. I don't have any kids and I don't have any fur babies or animals. It's just me. So how did I, and why do I think I only have value if I'm serving people? Is that what people who serve other people, like butler or servitude like roles, maids, how is that what they think? I'm sure not. I'm sure some of them just genuinely probably enjoy cleaning or it's therapeutic or they fell into it and now, it's become a way of life or it's just to pay the bills. Hmm. Anyway, that's what I have had going on these last couple weeks. And can y'all believe that at the end of this month, which is Thursday, we'll be in September. Like we're 3/4 of the year almost over and done. And no, I don't do New Year's resolutions per se, but what is something that you're already thinking about you want to do better for next year? I apparently need to have more positive affirmations for myself. It was very uncomfortable for me to hear her say that. But I think some of that is true. I just don't know when or how I got like that. Hmm. Well, enough of that depressing moment, melancholy moment, solemn moment. Um, I am still doing well. I got a bunch of compliments on my haircut that I did get styled before going to go see my niece. Hopefully, I'll be able to get the color a bit blonder. I learned about the purple shampoo in the process of getting this particular haircut. So, if I can leave you all with anything this week, today, it would be one, make sure you're paying attention not just to like your mental, but your physical, or not just your physical, but your mental. Um, the other thing that I learned while going back and trying to figure out this work life balance is some of the signs that I have exhibited or displayed, or just hearing other people talk about what they have felt. I actually felt several years ago, but as a person who, and I don't mean this any other way except for this is how I've always given the narrative, I guess, of my life. We're working class, we're middle class people, so I don't have money just in a trust or saved yet. So I have to work, right? And I understood what finances can do for me later in life, like my mid to late 20s. So I always have felt like I'm trying to play catch up with, 401k investing. And that language alone is very abstract to me. And I enjoy working because I like meeting new people. But at what sacrifice? I shared some other things with my health with my sisters and some of my friends, and they were like, "You too young for that." So then I got to thinking, did I sacrifice? You know how some people say the road to hell is paved with good intention, or people sell their souls for whatever. You hear people talk about the Illuminati. I don't know about all of that, and I'm not trying to compare or be a part of whatever, but I do understand because Hollywood has made enough movies, even in the Bible. There's a passage about a son who was given his portion from his father and he went and had loose living, right? But when he needed help, nobody was there. Excuse me. So, what am I sacrificing to get things versus making sure I'm healthy. This has been very thought provoking for me and forced me to see stuff that I just wasn't completely aware of. But on the bright side, I'm still alive and I have breath in my body. And so I am still confident that I can conquer this devaluing mindset or attitude that I apparently have about myself or don't feel worthy of. One of the things that I enjoy about my friend is that he constantly tells me that I'm beautiful. Now, that may be the norm for some of you all, but some of what I've learned through therapy is I have been conditioned, hurt, brainwashed, whitewashed, whichever one you want to call it. But my perspective is, if you don't look a certain way, then society does not deem you as beautiful, right, wrong, indifferent, learned behavior or not. That's my perspective. And so just talking to some of my other friends who happen to be divorced or dating and trying to figure out what's what, I have learned that I don't give myself grace. And I'm very hard on myself. And believe me, I'm not perfect. I've been struggling with my weight since I'm a young woman, young girl. I thought my head was entirely too big, but I still cut my hair off. Some of that was because it was just easier because I couldn't get to the salon to take care of Eric. And if I were a lady of leisure, I would be, a cosmetic surgeon would be on my roster, okay? And not Rolodex first, and I'd be trying out different things at the gym and creams and those types of things because who doesn't want to look good? But what those women, or at least the perception that we see, is they don't have stress or they don't have to worry about where their next meal is going to come from. So they have the option to be that lady of leisure. I don't know. Anyway, I feel like I'm rambling and it's not as cohesive as it needs to be for those who don't know me and trying to follow along. So I'm going to say again, as long as I have breath in my body, I still have an opportunity to heal myself and to continue to bring joy and happiness to people around me because I do think that's important. You don't know where people are coming from, and people find me to be trustworthy, a good listening ear, open and approachable, and I do appreciate that. So let's conquer this week. 1, by knowing that you are enough. 2, you are not in this by yourself. And 3, say something positive about yourself, even if it's uncomfortable, like you are beautiful and people want to be your friend. Got that from Blanche Devereaux from Golden Girls. Best show ever. Thank you all for taking this journey. It was a little bit longer this week. If you want to speed through or fast forward, I understand. But make sure you leave comments so that I can take a look and see what my audience is saying. As always, I thank you for taking this time to be with me. And I'll chat with you beautiful people next time. Ciao. Thanks. Have a good Sunday.